With your permission, Mr.
Yeah, do you want to do the usual announcements?
Yep. Yes, this informational session at this point is being recorded for the minute-taking purposes, as well as for posting of the recording of the proceedings on the agency's website. This meeting is also being live-streamed on the Access Health CT website. So this is the agenda, and Mr. Presiding Officer, we have received no public comment, and obviously we'll have to bypass the vote for the minutes. So we'll turn over to Glenn Jurgen, Director of Human Resources, for the staffing update.
Okay, great.
I believe somebody's just joining us.
Yeah, you want me to give a moment for this? Maybe this is Tom?
Tom?
Who just joined?
Yes, this is. Yes, I did just.
There we go.
Okay, great.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, Susan, we can go back to agenda item A. Is that correct?
Go back. Yep, we can go back to the. And why don't we just start, the normal way with the roll and everything now that Tom's here and we have a quorum.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Chair, with your permission, we already started recording the meeting, and
okay.
I will just repeat that this meeting is being recorded for the minute-taking purposes, as well as posting of the recording of the proceedings on the agency's website. This meeting is also being live-streamed on the Access Health CT website. And Mr. Chair, would you like to call this meeting to order?
I would. Let's call this meeting to order at 12 after 10 a.m. Would you do the roll call?
I will do the roll call for the committee members present. Thomas McNeil, Chair.
Yes.
Steven Hernandez.
I'm here.
Paul Philpott. And Sean King.
Here.
Thank you. And Mr. Chair, we did not receive any public comments for today's meeting.
Okay.
And roll calls will be taken for every action item. So we can move over to the this agenda item, review and approval of minutes of May 11th, 2023, regular meeting minutes.
Are there other participants that need to be identified?
Maybe appropriate the staff introduce themselves.
Yep.
James Michelle, CEO of Access Health Connecticut.
Susan Rich By, Director of Legal and Governmental Affairs, Access Health Connecticut.
Holly Zwick, Director of Finance, Access Health Connecticut.
And Glenn Jurgen, Director of Human Resources with Access Health Connecticut.
Thank you. I guess the next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes. Anybody have any corrections to the minutes, or can I have a motion to approve them?
So move, Mr. Chair.
Hello.
This is Steve.
Okay. Is there a second?
I can second. This is Sean, but I'm abstaining from the vote.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Martha Worm should call the roll. Tom McNeil, yes.
But Mr. McNeil, is there any discussion on the motion before us?
Sure. Any questions about the minutes as presented? Hearing none, can we proceed to a vote on the approval of the minutes?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Thomas McNeil.
Yes.
Steven Hernandez.
Yes.
Paul Philpott. And Sean King.
Abstain.
Thank you.
We want to proceed with a staffing update from Glenn.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning, everyone. Glenn Jurgen, Director of Human Resources here with Access Health Connecticut. Welcome to the HR committee meeting. It's good to see everybody. I know it's been a while since we met, so excited to share some information with you all this morning. We'll go through kind of our normal cadence with some updates on the staff itself and the makeup of the staff. As you can see here, this slide shows the ethnicity of the organization. Access Health continues to be a very diverse organization, which not only makes it a wonderful place to work, this also helps our customers out as well. Multiple languages are spoken. It really helps us understand who our customers are and interact with those customers too. We've had great success in recruiting a diverse workforce, not only from our location in the downtown Hartford area, the ease of access to the building, but also as just a great place to work in Connecticut. We've gotten a lot of traction off of who we are and the culture and what we do. And we've had very strong showings for recruiting, which I'll give you an update in the next few slides. But Marcin, if you could advance the slide, please. Generation. Folks, we talk about this most times when we meet, and this is another area where Access Health remains diverse. And as you can see, we're starting to get into the higher numbers of the quote unquote younger generations from Gen X and the baby boomers, where we actually have the baby boomers are getting smaller in number. Also, Gen X remains about the same, but we're seeing an increase in Gen Z and our millennials. And if you look at the bottom of the graph here, it shows what birth years those generations encapsulate. So there's been a lot of reading on this, and I know you folks are aware of the differences in generations. So we always have to be nimble and pivot with our approaches, because some of us who are in the older generations have certain thoughts on things where expectations from younger generations can sometimes differ. So it's been an exciting and fun and challenging to manage multiple generations, but it's also good to have those different inputs from the different generations, just like we have with people from different backgrounds as well. Marcin, if we could go to the next slide, please. Great. Folks, I did a combination on this slide here, which shows pay type. The majority of the workers at Access Health are salaried just due to the nature of their jobs, either requiring some, higher level skills or technical abilities. We do a lot of work on our systems and our data. When we get into the hourly individuals, that's mostly the folks on the front lines from our customer resolution team and our administrative support workers. But as you can see, the majority of our folks are salaried employees, and that just has to do with the way the jobs are structured in the organization. And if we go with gender, this has been fairly consistent over the last number of years, actually, folks. We've got a higher percentage of females in our workforce than males. So a good story to tell here in terms of diversity of our workforce. Again, not only from gender, but from generation and ethnicity as well. So there's a lot of good diversity here at the organization, and it really makes us a true part of who we are. Any questions on these staffing update slides before I move on, folks?
Hey, Glenn, just one question.
Sure.
On the gender issue, has it always been this breakdown in terms of majority female, or is that a change?
I believe I can speak for my tenure here, Tom. I've been here a little over 5 years. That has been the case. James or Susan, I don't know if it differed in the previous 5 years, but I'd welcome your input on that if you have any insight.
No, Tom, it's always been this way. Always been.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
And by the way, I believe that's true historically for the insurance industry. Believe it or not, the history of that is all the insurance companies in Hartford were designed back then when they were manually processed, where the housewives, they would come into work, drop the kids off in school, and come to work and leave at 2:30, pick up the kids and take them home. That was the cadence in Hartford for all of the insurance companies. So all the processes, people who did all the manual processes. Back then it was all manual. A ton of mothers, and they would drop the kids off from school, come in and do work in the insurance industry, and go and leave in time to pick up the kids from school and take them home.
I
And
got
so
you.
that's the legacy of this industry, at least in Connecticut. I'm sorry for
Mhm.
going for going into more detail than you probably wanted to hear.
No problem.
Okay, great. Thank you, Tom, and thank you, James. Martian, if we could advance to the next slide, please. Okay, folks, this is a year-over-year statistic, if you will, on this next slide. So calendar year, January to January. We had a very busy active recruiting year, and I just want to remind folks that Access Health is just under 100 employees. So that really helps put these numbers into perspective. We had 15 total job postings. We had 11 external hires. Within the organization, we had 20 position changes and promotions, or promotions, I should say. So just want to talk about that number. That's significant. You know, that's almost roughly a quarter of our organization was able to move. And as many of you are aware, an organization our size, it's challenging to have defined career paths. You can have them on paper, but a lot of times you only have that advancement when people leave. And last year, due to some staffing changes, we had a few folks move on from the organization, and we were able to really move pieces around quite significantly in terms of openings and give our staff an opportunity to grow. So really excited about that. It's a challenge at an organization our size. We have an excellent tenure. Our average tenure right now is over 5 years. So statistically, half of, people have been here for half of the organization's existence. So to have this many internal movements was very remarkable and something we're really proud of. As part of this process, when we look at the externals, we had 66 external pre-screen calls. And that's when our HR manager calls up the individuals to do a pre-screen and set up the interviews. And these calls take anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes. They're very comprehensive. Our HR manager is very engaged and enthusiastic about the culture, the organization, and the role. We have a lot of positive feedbacks from these interactions. So it helps us get an understanding of who the candidate is. And it also gives them an understanding of who we are from a culture and values standpoint. So they understand what they are walking into, if you will. They come to the interview prepared. So it's a well-done process that has a lot of positives in it. We also had 51 interviews that HR participated in. The HR department doing the HR function is 2 people. Myself and the HR manager. So a lot of involvement from our end. We offer that kind of third-party arm's length perspective. A lot of times we certainly know about the role, but not all the granular details that the hiring manager and staff will. We can offer that perspective in terms of how this person would be for a cultural fit or a department fit, just that kind of objective outside point of view. And that's been helpful for our hiring managers and hiring teams. This next statistic is pretty astounding. We had almost 8,600 views of our job posting and visits to those job postings. So if you look at that, we're seeing some spectacular numbers there from our advertising efforts. And we don't spend subsidy. It's called Job Target. It's basically, if you will, an aggregator where you pay a flat fee, a modest flat fee, and they put all the jobs out to this different job boards. And then we see where these folks are coming from on our Paylocity dashboard. So really neat statistics. And also 425 job applications came in for the calendar year. So very impressive. We're fortunate to have good traction. Folks know who we are from the activities we do for enrolling people in terms of the footprint that we have in the media space, whether it's the billboards, the TV, radio, some of the streaming services, all the work the marketing team does, and health equity and outreach of getting our name out there. So that really helps us with traction in terms of who the organizational is and the organization notoriety. So I'll pause here for any questions or comments anyone from the committee may have. Okay, hearing none, Martin, let's go to the next slide, please. This past year, we made a number of updates to some of our policies, our internal policies. One of the bigger ones is we created a wellness fund program for the employees. This is a pilot program this year. It's a $100 amount that employees can utilize for various wellness activities. So if they want to purchase, let's say, a pair of sneakers to start walking or running, maybe a gym membership, maybe some supplements. We have some guardrails around this, folks. I won't go into the granular details on it, but it's been very well received. We've had good participation in it, and it's another benefit offering that Access Health has. I'd be remiss if I didn't say our health insurance is coupled with the state and is excellent and at a very low premium cost to our employees. So this is another way we're looking out for our employees. We want them to be engaged and be active in taking care of their health and wellness. So I'll keep this committee updated as that program moves on throughout this year. We have a full year look at it and the utilization of it. We also switched over to a casual dress code, which, folks, is actually more of a dress for the day. And basically what that is, you know, folks can wear more casual clothes to the office, but we do ask that if we have visitors coming to the office, if they have visitors coming to the office, if they have to go off site, that they do have a business or business casual attire. And we did set it up where we could, you know, ask people for the whole day, hey, if we have someone coming to the office, we need everybody to dress up. So that's out there too. So it's a very flexible policy and has been well received. We worked with our finance team and combined the use of personal time and PTO. We had 4 personal days, which were use it or lose it days. And it became somewhat of a challenge to manage from the employee's perspective in administering it. So we rolled it all into one. So now that time rolls over year to year within the constraints that we have. You can roll a max over of 40 hours per year, but folks don't have to distinguish between those 2 buckets anymore. It's all in one bucket. So it makes it easier for the employees, which was the goal of it, and on the admin side as well. We also sent out a new updated employee handbook with various policies, and that came out on the 1st of July. And some of these policies were in it, including others, which were well received by the employees and staff in general. Awards this year, again, we received an award for the best companies to work for in Connecticut. We also received it for 2024, which is our 5th year in a row. Always excited about this. It really gives us some traction out in the community, as I mentioned, for our hiring numbers and the notoriety and recognition. I do want to share one piece of insight we received from a candidate over the last year. They were actually using that Hartford Business Journal article to search out companies to work for. And that's how they discovered that we were one of the best places to work. And that drove them to apply for an opening at our organization. So this really helps the organization as a whole. And Sean, looks like you have a question, so feel free to chime in.
Sure, yeah, I was just curious. It looked like you were wrapping up this slide, so I didn't want to interrupt, but
no problem.
I was just curious about the work from home policy and how that works at Access Health. This is my first meeting of this group, so you may have covered it in the past, but I just was trying to catch up on that.
Absolutely, Sean. I can get into that for you. Before we came back to the office, we put together a group of employees, volunteers from across the organization at all levels of the organization, and came up with a hybrid work plan. It was designed initially to have whole departments in the office. We didn't want to have people sitting in the office talking to their colleagues on Teams. You know, the idea was to get people together and to collaborate. And we also did it with an eye towards seating too, because this was still when the pandemic was in effect, but not, you know, full effect where we're all working from home. So we basically have 2 groups into the office. We have a Monday, Tuesday group, and then we have a Wednesday, Thursday group. Everybody works from home on Friday. And there are the HR department comes in on Tuesday and Wednesday, so we can be face-to-face with employees from both groups. Some of our members of finance team, our payroll person comes in on those days as well to meet with both groups. And some of our senior leadership does the same as well. But it's been really successful, Sean. People like it. It allows them the flexibility to, you know, work from home and be at home if you know, they can schedule, if someone needs to come in, check their heating system or something like that, they can be home for it. But it also allows for that collaboration. We do once a month in office days. Usually we have some type of an activity to do, bring people together, collaborate, celebrate. We celebrate birthdays and work anniversaries. We do 2 family reunions throughout the year. So we really try, we don't try, we make a big effort to have that flexibility, but we're still very adamant about getting together at least a few times a week and every month for that collaboration, because the culture is so important, and being face to face has made a big difference. So I hope that helps, Sean. I can go into more detail if needed.
No, I was just looking for kind of an overview. So thanks, Glenn. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. No problem at all. Excellent. Thank you for that question. Moving along, we went for a new award this year called the Stevie Awards, and it's a national and actually international award. And we took 2 awards home from that: People Focused CEO of the Year and Chief Human Resources Officer of the Year. And that was a really amazing experience. We went to New York City for the awards. We sat at a table with a company from India. James and I were chatting with some folks who were from Europe and the Middle East, who were there, and, certainly a number of people from the States as well. But we felt very honored and, humbled, if you will, to be shoulder to shoulder with these organizations, some of them having thousands, if not tens of thousands of employees in receiving these awards. And here we are, Access Health, a state-based exchange, having a seat at the table with these individuals. So we're really making some strides. And again, this is more for the notoriety that it provides the organization. It gets our name out there. This is some branding we can put on our website and on our recruiting materials as a best company to work and a Stevie Award winner. So it gives people an idea of who we are and how we show up.
Just for context, one of the recipients of one of the awards below us was the Middle East, CNN Middle East, the head of the CNN Middle East operations. They flew in earlier that day, her and her husband, who was from German, and she was from the Middle East. And Glenn and I spoke with them at length, but again, we're very proud to be amongst these huge organizations with a lot more resources than we have to do for their employees. But that was a really special place. But as Glenn indicated, we go after these awards for one reason only: to expose Access Health to the rest of the world, and not for any personal benefits. We have to tell our story, and we're telling our stories through recognition through these awards. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you for that, James. Appreciate the insight. And Marcin, if we could go to the next slide. We've had a bold number of activities that have taken place and will continue to take place throughout the last calendar year and into the 2020 fiscal and calendar year for Access Health Connecticut. Last year, we did an extensive amount of leadership training. The leadership training took place off-site with a leadership coach, and we learned a lot about each other, how we view the organization, strategy. Was really, really eye-opening, and is actually going to continue with more of a strategic focus as we go forward into this calendar year. That has also resulted, we met a really good coach, Bob Zwicky, Pier 27 Coaching. He is working one-on-one with select SLT members, and we hope to have all the SLT members go through some one-on-one coaching. It's an excellent opportunity. We've gotten some good feedback from that program thus far. And what we're doing in that is additional training for some of our emerging leaders. Going back to the recruitment slide, we had a number of folks who really stepped up and applied for higher level roles in the organization, and we want to harness that energy. So we're going to do some offsite sessions with those individuals, about 7 management level individuals in the organization. We'll see how that process goes, how it's received, what the results are. Remaining optimistic on that. If it goes well, we're going to include more people in that as well. We want to have people continue to grow and develop at Access Health. And as I get into the next section, I'll get into some more detail on that. We have opportunities for folks to get involved. I'm sure you've all heard of the 10 Clicks Project and ICRA. Those are 2 large, big initiatives that we're excited about at Access Health. We're getting our folks involved in that. We have some sessions coming up with Minson Hoke in the next couple weeks where they're going to be getting feedback from employees on the 10 clicks or less project. Well, right now we have a subset of the SLT who's working on that. That's going to bring about 40 plus employees into the fold from all levels across the organization, mostly outside of SLT, if you will. So these are some frontline folks. These are some folks who don't have any experience with our systems. These are technical folks who are in the system all the time. We're getting feedback from as many people as we can and involving them any way we can. ICRA is going to see some involvement as well. That's a big project while it's developing in the shop side of the business. There's a lot of other input that we're having here. You know, and it's basically, we want to put our people first. You know, we want them to grow. We want them to develop. You know, we have to look at keeping our staff engaged. You know, our unemployment here in the state of Connecticut's really low. If you will, we're pretty much at full employment. We're at like 3.2% unemployment. When you get to 4%, it's considered full employment. Basically, everybody who's able to work is able to work. So it's a very tight labor market. And of course, we've got good responses to our ads, but we want to keep our current people engaged. So that's what we're doing. You know, we don't have some of the perks that some of these larger organizations, like James was alluding to, the CNNs and whatnot. You know, we don't have huge dollar bonuses, if you will. You know, there's no pension or things of that nature.
Stock options. We'll get stock options.
Correct. So, you know, while we do pay competitive salaries, we use a third party firm to benchmark it. You know, there's those other ancillary pieces that really keep people at other organizations. So we have to do other activities to keep our folks engaged in learning. And one of the philosophies that we do have here at Access Health, folks, is not only will this help this person, because that's what we want to do, we want to help the person, it's going to help Access Health too. But it will also help this individual, you know, if they do decide to go somewhere else, you know, we're helping them in their career pathing. So it's something that, you know, we look at very holistically. It's not just what benefits the company. We really want to look at the person and how can we help them grow and help them develop. And giving these opportunities has been really good for us as the organization. It makes us stronger. And we have big projects like this. You have the buy-in because people are engaged in it. It's not just something that kind of shows up one day in a nice box with a bow on it. People have rolled their sleeves up and they've had input into it and they feel that they're a part of it and they feel they can make things better because they're passionate about what they do and helping folks in Connecticut. But
you know,
I've gone a little long, so let me pause here for any additional comments.
Just very quickly, one additional comment to a little context, a little color to what Glenn was just saying. You know, while it was always our strategy to engage our employees in these two projects, as we have done in other big projects, such as the Broker Academy. When we first introduced these to the entire company, I'm walking down the hallway. Everyone started wanted to volunteer, suggested, "Hey, can I get involved? What can I do to support these two projects?" We have a strategy to recruit people. So wait until you hear from us. But people were volunteering to be part of these projects on the ground floor, and those are folks who are closest to our employee, to our customers. So they know exactly what we need to do to make things easier for our customers and to improve the customer experience. So this has really been a good way for us to engage with our employees, but also give them an opportunity to share with us what they have. So it's a win-win all around for everyone. Go ahead, Glenn. I'm sorry, Glenn. Go ahead.
No, thank you, James. I've spoken, you know, to all the points on the slide, so I welcome if anyone has any questions or comments on it, please chime in.
I'll just throw out there that you know, this is my first meeting with this group, but it's no surprise, I guess, to hear about the awards and the notoriety that the organization gets. with all of the attention to those details on hiring a diverse staff and promoting people from within, and providing that human resources support for your people to be successful, and to put them on the paths they want to be on, and grow leaders within the organization. I just want to piggyback on the awards and the notoriety you've been getting. This is great information, and appreciate all the hard work and effort that everybody puts into this, creating a cohesive team at Access Health.
Great. No, thank you for that feedback, Sean. Sums it up nicely. Really appreciate that.
Yeah. Any other questions? Thanks for your presentations, Glenn.
Absolutely, Tom. Thank you.
Any other issues we should cover for the good of the order, or otherwise I'll seek a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Sean.
Second, Steve. Thank you.
Okay. Marcin, you want to call the roll on that?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Thomas McNeil,
Yes.
Steve Hernandez,
Yes.
Paul Philpott, and Sean King.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks so much,
Thank
everybody.
you,
It's great
Glenn,
to see
for
you.
such a great presentation.
Thank you.
Take
welcome.
care.
Thanks,
Have a
everybody.
great day, everybody.
Great day.
Good to see you all. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.